I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain, race in vain. Hold my hand, hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain, race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain.
Let's do We'll Build the Land. I think it's 121.
We'll build a land, 121.
120.
We'll find out.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice will roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land, we bring up good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where siblings and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land, building up ancient cities, raising up civilizations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like
118.
118, This Little Light of Mine.
With feeling.
And potentially clapping.
Remember the verses?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine.
Just the
Let
little
it
light.
shine.
This Little Light.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Universal Unitarian Universalist. My name's Jean McKinney, and I am a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and call your attention to the special note on the back of the order of service entitled, "Welcome, Guests and Newcomers." I would also like to welcome those of you who are attending online. The lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on the screen, and a complete order of service, including this week's announcements, is available via the link in the Sunday morning email on the church website. An in-person Sunday social is held immediately following this service. We do ask that you turn off all of your cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. This morning we have two within these walls announcements. Bonnie Nelson is going to talk about our annual pledge drive, and our special agent is going to talk about the day of service.
I said at the first service, the annual pledge drive needs a theme song because it is not nearly as exciting as when the special agents get up here. So good morning. 5 weeks ago, we kicked off the 2024-2025 annual pledge drive. Each week following, you heard incredible testimonials from members about their strong connections to the church and how important those connections are. I want to take a moment to thank Danvers and Augie, Lois and Bronwyn, Doug and Joan for sharing their stories with us. I found them to be thoughtful and inspiring, and I appreciated them sharing. I also wanted to say thank you To those in the congregation who have already taken a moment to pledge, pledging early helps Reverend Thom, the Board of Trustees, and the Treasurer craft a budget that we can support fully. If you have not yet pledged, no fear, the pledge form remains open. All the materials are online, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Talking about stewardship is one of my favorite things, truly. So the generosity model, which is the basis for our stewardship vision, says that when everyone contributes as generously as they can, we will be able to fully fund the church resources needed to nurture our spirits, care for one another, and change the world with our love. Financially, which is everybody's question, we are closing in on our goal of being able to fully fund the anticipated operating budget for next year. If we continue at this pace, we might even set a new record, right? I will be tabling for this year's annual pledge drive one last time after service. Please stop by to complete a form if you've not done so, or pledge online. Ask a question or just say hi so that I can thank you for the pledge that you've already made. And throughout the year, please continue to build your connections to the church by attending services, participating in events like the Day of Service, or even maybe chairing or co-chairing the annual pledge drive. Know that we are here for each other, and that what you donate is being managed well, and that your time and talent and trust that you bring to the church is appreciated. Thank you.
Classes are fun. The 2024 Day of Service has come and gone. Our mission was accomplished.
Over 250 UUers joined together to eat, laugh, meet new friends, share time with loved ones, and most importantly, provided needed service to our greater community, over 700 hours. Special agents were dedicated to their missions, and many worked overtime or went back after lunch to make sure that their missions were completed.
We celebrated the end of the Community Church Pledge Drive, and as one astute person shared yesterday, we ended our giving with more giving.
Everything was not perfect. It did not all go as planned, but perfection was not the mission. Living our UU principles was, and we surely accomplished that.
For the past 5 years, the Day of Service is our special day to act in community. It's many things. It's multi-generational and joyful, full of love and caring vibes. It's filled with amazing music and food, and someone had a really great idea for a community church cookbook to be sold at the auction, and I hope they follow through on that. A chance to create new connections and learn about each other. Fun fact, did you know that one of our congregants went to a cocktail party with the Beatles in New York City in 1964? And most importantly, we get the opportunity to get the great joy that comes from collectively serving others. Giving to others is very powerful, but doing it together is even greater.
We shined our collective light on our community yesterday in a beautiful way.
Thanks to all of you that contributed to make this amazing quilt of action happen.
And about this time next year, we will do it again, and the theme for 2025 will have to stay top secret.
Well, before we go on and sing, let's just take a moment to show our appreciation to Leanne and to Mandy and also to Becky Wilkes and Carol Brune for leading this secret mission this year. It is. And now we commence with the service after the service. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing number 1028, The Fire of Commitment, in your teal hymnal, and sing out.
the file of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of the living rings a song, the true tree, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then the promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Yesterday, we went out into the community. We removed invasive plants from Legion Park. We constructed planter boxes for a living community serving low-income seniors. We prepared garden beds for a farm that feeds people in our community with food insecurity. Yesterday, we went out into the community. We did service projects at El Centro Hispano, Charles House, and Frank Porter Graham Elementary. Yesterday, we went out into the community. We brought a busload of our congregants to Raleigh to march with the Poor People's Campaign. We sang at retirement communities. Yesterday, we reached out into the community. We made shawls for hospice. We made placemats, cards, and fresh-baked cookies for those receiving Meals on Wheels. We made countless pet toys for animals in local shelters. We had a great time, gathering for meals, listening to music, and pretending to be secret agents. We came together, young and not quite as young, longtime church members, and those who have just discovered our community, multi-generational community. We are a spiritual center with a civic circumference. This morning, we celebrate our reach beyond our walls. Come, let us worship and celebrate together.
You will find the words for our chalice lighting in your order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all spaces. Its shrine, the good heart. its creed, all truth, its ritual, works of love, its procession of faith, divine living. And now we will have a musical presentation.
So I want to let you know a little bit about this piece, Jenga Imano Yako. It's in Swahili, and it is from the Kwaya music tradition of Tanzania. And this is the translation of the chorus. We sing the chorus a few times, and the translation is, "Build your faith, brethren, as our ancestors did. By diligently staying strong and praying, you will build your faith." And you'll hear the phrase "kwa imani" quite a lot throughout the verses. And "kwa imani" means by faith. So whenever you hear that. And this is our first time, I think, singing in Swahili, and they worked really hard. So I wanted to thank the choir for taking the time to do this. So this is Jenga Imani Yako.
tell you, it's trouble with me back there with percussion instruments. Like, I just keep seeing them and getting drawn to them. So that's thank you, Elijah and Cass, for being our percussionists this morning at both services. It's awesome. Wish I could do that. Each week we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring to this community. It's during this time that if you come this morning with either a personal joy or a personal sorrow that you wish to share, you're invited to come forward, place a stone in the water bowl, and say your name and briefly share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust. Are there any joys and sorrows?
Good morning. My name is Cass. Already said it. I said this during the first service, but I will say it again for the people who did not hear it. I had a great thing happen to me last week. I was accepted into the NJHS, National Junior Honors Society group at my school, and it was a very big time and a turning point in my life, because I really felt me growing in that point, and it was a very big time that I just got to go up on stage and get that certificate in my hands, and it felt very good. And now I'm a part of it, and now I have to keep my grades good, so that's fun. Thank you.
My name's Ruth Gibson, and I'm kind of an evangelist. Love to share the good news. And I want to thank everybody who went out into the world with Standing on the Side of Love Community Church of Chapel Hill t-shirts yesterday. A young woman came up to me at the march and said, "What kind of a church are you? I keep seeing your shirts all over." And I told her what kind of a church we were. She says, "I've been looking for a church like that, and can I come?" And so Jane may be here any day now.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Bitner, and I'm back again this week. Last week I stood up here to let you all know that I was supposed to undergo shoulder replacement surgery this coming Friday, the 8th. Well, this past week I found out that my insurance company, Aetna, has different plans in mind. So they're insisting I go through at least 6 weeks of some PT. So my surgery's been tentatively rescheduled for May 14th, and I just wanted to keep you all up to date on that. I also want to thank Ivy from the church committee. She's already reached out to me and offered support, and I appreciate that, and I let her know thanks, but we can just put it off for another 2 months.
My name is Nan J, and tomorrow I will be having heart surgery to either repair or replace one of the valves. For me, this is really a great joy that they can even do this, and I'm a little nervous.
Hi, I'm Eric Bannon, and last weekend I was invited to provide music and a sermon at the UU Coastal congregation in Morehead City. It was a lot of fun. I led a workshop on body percussion and vocal improvisation. We had a potluck, and then at the service we did a hymn improvisation. It was good stuff.
Good morning. I'm Alexa Adamo Valverde.
And I'm Michael.
And I place a stone for joy and a stone for sorrow. And the joy is that I'm part of this amazing, huge Italian-American family. And I got to grow up with 4 brothers and 6 cousins all on the same street. And our sorrow is that my best cousin, same age as me, her husband was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in November, and he died last Thursday. So please hold my cousin Regina and her 15-year-old daughter and 25-year-old son in your prayers.
Sorry.
A final stone is placed for all those joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts, that were not spoken. I invite you into the spirit of prayer and meditation, through spirit of life and love. We hold in our hearts this morning the love we share for family and community. We hold the grief of loss. We hold healing prayers and well wishes and deep care for those who are about to undergo surgery. And at the same time, we hold joy. Joy for our ability to share our gifts. Joy for our triumphs and successes. Joy especially for this community. We are aware that the connections in our lives go far beyond this place. They reach out across this community, across this country, indeed across this globe, bringing us into connection with many people, many lives, many hearts whose beating is connected to our own heartbeat. Just as the service of this community reaches out beyond these walls. I invite us to take a moment this morning, whether we pause in grief, or pause in gratitude, or pause in both, to connect our prayers and the beating of our own hearts with the prayers that are shared around us. Let us hold a time of silence together. Won't you please join with me in our sung meditation? When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love when I breathe in. I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love when I breathe in. I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love.
Today we have a responsive reading, number 567 in your gray hymnal, and I'll read the bit in plain font, and please read the italicized font. To be of use. I want to be with people who submerge in the task,
who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along,
who stand in the line and haul in their places,
who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm, and the food must come in or the fire be put out.
The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust.
But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident.
Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used.
The pitcher cries for water to carry, and the person for work that is real.
Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, please point your camera at the QR code on the back of the order of service and tap the banner that appears, or there is information on the church's website. Thank you.
I got plenty of something. What do I do? Plenty of something. What do I do? Got plenty and then some. What do I do now? I go out and help somebody. Get plenty of then some too. I got a roof over my head. What do I do? Got a roof over my head. What do I do? Got a roof over my head. What do I do now? I go out and help somebody. Put a roof over their head too. I got supper on the table. What do I do? Got supper on the table. What do I do? Got supper on the table. What do I do now? I go out and help somebody. Put supper on the table too. That's what I do. 'Cause I gotta give. I gotta give. And when you have enough to give away, it's the only way to live. 'cause I gotta give, I gotta give. And when you have enough to give away, it's the only way to live and go into heaven. That's what I'll do. I'm going to heaven, that's what I do. Going to heaven, that's what I do now. Help somebody. Yeah, I'm gonna help somebody. I'm gonna help somebody to go to heaven too.
So from 2005 to 2019, the Unitarian Universalist Association had this practice of identifying and honoring breakthrough congregations. Breakthrough congregations were congregations that were exhibiting high levels of vitality, growth, innovation, creativity. And the Unitarian Universalist Association would select 3 or 4 a year and designate them as breakthrough congregations, and would produce like an 8-minute video about all the cool things this congregation was doing, and then would kind of honor them at General Assembly. And sometimes the congregation being honored as a breakthrough congregation had done something so amazing, vibrant, innovative, and creative that news about what they had done had just gotten out, that it had created a buzz, and everybody kind of noticed, and it was really something that everybody had heard about. Sometimes the congregation being honored as a breakthrough congregation was in fact doing inspiring and noteworthy things, and was also really good at self-promotion. They were good at marketing themselves and publicizing themselves and saying, hey, everybody, look at us. And on a couple of occasions, congregations being honored as breakthrough congregations were simply good at talking a big game, making braggadocious claims about themselves that were not grounded in reality. And kind of the award to them was kind of, they had kind of deceived themselves or deceived others into thinking that they were doing more than they were. I'm sorry for being so petty. Let me see if I can reframe things a little bit. This morning, I want to talk about the distinction between simply talking the talk and actually walking the walk. This morning, I want to talk about the difference between being performative and being real. This morning, I want to talk about the difference between appearing to do good and actually doing good. Do you remember those signs that popped up a few years ago in people's yards? The signs had a number of slogans in rainbow colors: no human is illegal, science is real, women's rights are human rights, love is love, and so forth. Do you remember those signs? Anybody? Okay. I drive by houses and yards in Chapel Hill, in Carrboro, in Durham, in Chatham County, and I'd see all of these houses with those signs, and I'd drive by and I'd be like, yeah, nice sign. Yeah, awesome. And I also would kind of wonder, whether or what the person who lived in that house, what they might be doing to kind of live those values and lives, live those values that they expressed, to put them into action. This morning, I want to talk about some of the ways in which our church actually walks the walk. Last month, we sent Kat Good, our Assistant Director of Religious Education, to Seattle for the Our Whole Lives Training of Trainers. Our Whole Lives, or OWL for short, is a groundbreaking, award-winning human sexuality education curriculum co-created between the Unitarian Universalists and the United Church of Christ. It's fact-based, science-based, evidence-based, and is grounded in our values of full inclusion for LGBTQIA+ peoples. OWL is one of the most important programs we offer. It's life-affirming and life-changing and even life-saving. Getting accepted to the training of trainers was highly competitive and highly selective, and Kat got accepted largely due to our congregation's very real track record of offering Our Whole Lives regularly, consistently, year after year, dependably. The last time Our Whole Lives offered a training of trainers was 7 years ago, and this year they only accepted 20 people into the program. And of those 20, only 8 were Unitarian Universalists. And Kat was one of the 8. It used to be that for us to get a new volunteer certified to teach Our Whole Lives, we'd have to send them away for a weekend in some destination several states away, and it was expensive. Now, Kat is a certified Our Whole Lives trainer and is able to train Our Whole Lives facilitators. This summer, we're going to be partnering with the UU Fellowship of Raleigh and the Eno River UU Fellowship in Durham to offer a training for Our Whole Lives facilitators right here in the Triangle at all 3 locations. Their plan is to become a central hub, a destination location for training Our Whole Life human sexuality educators. And what's more, since these trainings earn a little bit of money, the plan is to reinvest the proceeds from these trainings to offer OWL facilitator training in communities of color. Just pretty awesome, pretty awesome. Kat says of our Whole Lives program, I can say with confidence we have one of the most robust OWL programs nationwide, and the way our community supports Our Whole Lives is simply unmatched. Love is love. Science is real. For us, these are not simply words on a sign. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. In recent years, we've been able to invest in and expand and grow Kat's position. We've been able to offer professional expenses, which makes it possible for her to go and get this training. And the result of our investment is one of the most robust Our Whole Lives programs nationwide. This work is real, and it's work that we are making possible as a community. There's another line that you find on those yard signs: no human is illegal. No human is illegal, incredibly timely in these days. It's one thing to put up a sign, and it is something else to walk the walk. It's one thing to let words come from our lips. It's another thing to live the truth of these words in our actions and our deeds. As a church, we're blessed to have an asset that's very valuable, which is that we have a house on our property, a house with 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms that is not needed for our programming. And let me tell you, having a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in the heart of Chapel Hill is no small thing. So many years ago, we wondered, what if we put this house to use, housing immigrant families, refugee families, families seeking sanctuary, families seeking asylum. After all, before our house was ready to be used, Rosa lived in sanctuary in a church office at the Church of the Reconciliation for 2 years, for over 2 years. Rosa lived in sanctuary at the Church of the Reconciliation for over 2 years in a church office. And we had a house. So our Immigrant Justice Initiative was born. We poured hundreds and hundreds of hours into readying the house on our property, and our church committed tens of thousands of dollars to getting the manse connected to the city sewer. And since 2019, we've hosted, by my count, some 40 immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers in the manse. Some stayed for just a few weeks. I remember how we did host a refugee family of 9 from Afghanistan for about a month at one point. And other families have stayed for a year or more. And the Immigrant Justice Initiative of our church has worked tirelessly, and they've worked tiredly too. They've worked tirelessly and tiredly to help these families get legal representation, health care, dental care, mental health care, work permits, enroll their children in school, and to begin to make a life here in this country. One of the things our Immigrant Justice Initiative has been able to celebrate recently are 2 stories of family reunification. In making the journey to come to this country, many families have to separate, leaving a child or children behind. Can you imagine what an amazingly hard thing that is? And our church has played a role in bringing 2 different families back together, reuniting children with brothers and sisters and parents. It's one thing to put up a sign that says no human is illegal. It's another thing to house, to accompany, to support. It's another thing to say, we will work to reunite you with your child. There are signs that say women's rights or human rights, and in our church we do more than put out signs. We organize. Out of our congregation, out of this congregation, thanks to the work of Melva Oken and our Side with Love ministry, we founded the Triangle Interfaith Reproductive Justice Coalition. Before that, there was no way for congregations with shared values to work together to promote reproductive justice and reproductive freedom right here in the Triangle. And now there is. It's one thing to talk about justice, and it's another thing to support it. Here in North Carolina, we have a statewide Unitarian Universalist justice ministry. It's led by Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson, who is our affiliated community minister. And I found out something very recently, which is that our church is the largest financial supporter of the UU Justice Ministry of North Carolina. Our church puts more money into support of that organization than any other congregation in North Carolina. Some people talk about justice, but our actions speak louder than words. And by the way, next Sunday, Reverend Lisa's going to be visiting us, and we'll be doing a Share the Plate for UU Justice Ministry of North Carolina. So let's keep up being a leadership congregation. I want to tie all these things together. The Our Whole Lives ministry, the Immigrant Justice Initiative, the Triangle Interfaith Reproductive Justice Coalition, the UU Justice Ministry of North Carolina. Because there is a thread that runs through all of them, which is that the work that we do with these organizations is real work. We show up as a real people and as a real community. We bring real things to the table, real people power, real commitment, and real money. Many have noted that there's a quality to contemporary life that seems superficial. My colleague Fred Wooden recently observed that we live in a country where being seen as good is more important than the good that you do. Our lives can become performative. Social media allows us to create a carefully curated image of ourselves. French Marxist philosopher Guy Debord called this the society of the spectacle. And he observed that the spectacle reduces reality to an endless supply of commodifiable fragments, encouraging us to focus on appearance. And that this focus on appearances constitutes a degradation of our lives. Indeed, not only can the focus on appearances be a distraction from the real work and real community that we work to build, But platitudes and statements, when they are not backed up by action, actually increase despair. Let me say that again. Platitudes and statements, when they're not actually backed up by action, actually increase despair in the world. In that way, talking the talk without actually walking the walk is worse for our souls than silence. And it's here in this place, the good news of being here is that here we have an antidote to that. The words I chose for the chalice lighting this morning are some of my favorite words from the great Unitarian transcendentalist minister Theodore Parker, who thankfully not only wrote well, but lived well. They're words about living your faith. Let the shrine of our religion be the good heart, he writes. Let our ritual be our works of love. Let our profession of faith be our living. Religion, for him and for us, is not about thinking the right thoughts or believing the right beliefs or saying the right words. It's about fundamentally how we live our lives. All this year, we've been exploring the theme of connection. We began the year with a responsive reading from our hymnal by Marge Piercy, Connections Are Made Slowly, the Seven of Pentacles. And this morning, as we celebrate our amazing day of service from yesterday, and as we consider the real connections that we make and share with each other, and the real connections that we have with our wider community, I chose a second Marge Piercy reading. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, the poet writes, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals or field deserters or social media posters. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and the person for work and impact that is real. We've real connections. Create real nodes, build real houses. Like the real houses that we built yesterday as one of our groups went to serve with Habitat. Like the real placemats and cards for Meals on Wheels. Like the real shawls for hospice. Like the real songs we sang at the Senior Living Center. Like the real marching, the real feet on the ground in Raleigh. Like the real service that we did at Frank Porter Graham and El Centro Hispano and Charles House. Like the real community that we are. Keep being that real community. Ground ourselves in real impact. Make a real difference. Amen and hooray. And we're going to close with a song this morning about not just saying the right words, but living an authentic life. These are words number 34, though I may speak with bravest fire, and I invite us to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our closing song.
The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So let's thank all of those who have contributed to this morning's service. Please join in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service, so you could reach out a hand and let your neighbor hold it, or feel free to cross your hands over your heart. Shalom, Shalom, my friends, Shalom, my friends, Shalom, Shalom. We'll meet again, we'll meet again, Shalom, Shalom.